What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the beautiful show called In Your Fields with the Unk. Man, this is a beautiful Friday morning here in Johannesburg, South Africa. We in Ayrton as well, and we're having this show here. It's so good to see you back. Do me a favor, while you're at it, just press the subscribe button. Press the bell so that you can subscribe to all these beautiful and wonderful shows. Last week we had a great show with some footballers, and we're continuing on that trend this morning. We have two great coaches in the studio, and we'll introduce them in a second. And I'm so glad to have back as an anchor. My anchor last week was very quiet, you know what I'm saying? He's overwhelmed by the whole program, you know. But I've got my anchor back this morning, my co-host in fact, and that is none other than Jay Paris.
What's Gucci? Thank you so much for joining us once again. Like the young said, on this beautiful Friday morning. It's been overcast for the past couple of weeks, but
yeah,
we got smiles in the studio.
We got smiles, Jay.
The sunshine is here, and I know we're definitely in for a fantastic session ahead.
We've got smiles even though Wednesday night, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, let's not even go there.
A bit of a lull there, but we're gonna pick it up Sunday, yeah? We're going to pick it up, Sunday.
I hope so.
We've got coaches in the studio. We can't talk a lot about that. You know what I'm saying?
They can guide us and our team as to what we can do on Sunday.
They'll guide us. But thank you so much, Jay. It's good to have you back, man.
Definitely, it's good to be here, the Unk.
Yes,
it's always an honor and a privilege.
Good. We've got two excellent coaches from the communities in and surround the southern areas of Johannesburg. And I'm so excited to have them here. Man, what a privilege, what an honor it is to have such men in the studio. And I'm going to introduce them. We've got none other than Mr. Leroy Smith, otherwise known as Coach Smiley. Give it up for Coach Smiley. Thank you, guys. You know, last night he sent me a voice note. He said, can't we have music? When he comes in, the lights must be off. So when he enters, we must play John Cena.
Your time is up. My time is now.
I didn't prepare that, man. But we'll do it next time, right? We'll do it next time.
Let's please do it.
We'll do it next time. And then we're introducing my coach on my right hand side here, your left. That is none other than Coach Elzavian. What's your surname?
Van Rieder.
Let's go! Better known as Coach Zavi. Come on, give it up for Coach Zavi.
And your theme song?
Theme song? Nah, it's nothing.
It doesn't
Champions League. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got the Champions League. That's his theme song. So we've got the coaches in. Coach Leroy, Coach Smiley. I'm gonna call him Coach Smiley for the set, and I'm gonna say to Coach Zavi, sure, right, for the set. Coach Smiley, man. Introduce yourself and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks, Kneggy, for having me here today. I'm Leroy, Coach Leroy and Coach Smiley, known as the best coach in the ABC Motsepe. I know Zavi won't agree with me.
String shades.
Come on.
No, I'm joking, guys. Thanks for having me here, Pastor Lester, Kneggy, whatever it is. What do I call you?
You know.
In fact, you tell me what I call you.
Lester or Les, anything like that.
Les.
Yeah.
Well, I coach in the ABC Motsepe League. Team La Masia. We've been in the ABC Motsepe for about 2 years. This is our second season. Can't wait to see what it holds. I'm just excited. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you so much. Coach Zavi?
Yeah. Okay, how do I introduce myself? I'm not used to this. My name is Elzavian van Rieder, better known as Coach Zavi. I'm coaching at Wits University at the moment, also in the ABC Motsepe League with Coach Smiley.
We've got rivals here, guys. We've got rivals here, right?
Yeah, and I'm from Rivoli, born in Clarkston, Alabama, from the Northwest originally. But I've stayed here my whole life, so I'm from Rivoli.
So Klerksdorp, ne? Alabama. Brandon Silent.
Yeah, uncle.
Okay,
Football
man.
in the family.
It's all in the family. That's excellent, exceptional. But we've got the coaches here. We're going to have a warm-up first, and then we're going to delve into the show, right? So our warm-up is called, Jay, what's our warm-up called?
Road to goal.
Roll to go.
Road. But roll. Yes.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. Okay, so it's road to goal, but we actually call it roll to go.
Roll to go.
Okay, so who's partners here? Myself and Coach Smiley?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
and Coach Zavi and Jay.
And then the two of us, your set offset that your team name is?
Our team name is Strokes.
Strokes.
Yeah, they
We
hail all the
represent-
way from Eldos.
Yeah.
Yes, and your
And our
coach.
team name?
Nah, we'll go with Rebels then.
All the way
There's
from
rivalry
Globally.
here. There's rivalry here. Rivoli and Regenpark. Yeah, Rebels. Okay, cool. How does this thing work?
So, can I go to that side and demonstrate?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
cool?
yes. You go.
Perfect. All right.
Okay,
all right,
camera
all right.
on, Jake.
So this is how the game works. So we said it's road to go, but in this case, it's roll to go. Because as you can see, we got 2-ply here, and this is how we win. As you can see, we got 2 glasses over here. Don't know if you can see that, filled with water. Hope it's not wine, it's water. And this is how it's gonna do. We have to roll this toilet paper
Yeah.
up until the glass comes towards this side.
Yes.
Within 30 seconds, and obviously the winner is the winner, which is of course.
Okay, so
gonna be
whoever
us.
gets there first.
Yes,
Okay, so one team from our team, one person
Yes,
from
yes,
our
one
team, one
person.
person from your team.
exactly.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's 30 seconds to see who wins.
Okay, so who's on first? Smiley's
yo?
on first. Coach Smiley is on
Okay.
first.
I'll
let
take
me
on
take Smiley
Zavi.
on.
I'll take on Zavi.
Okay, the coaches
no,
are
I
at
think
it.
let us go first.
Okay,
Let
then the
us go
coach is
first.
second.
Yes.
Okay,
We'll
cool.
keep that second. Let
Right,
us go
right,
first.
right.
The best for last, Smiley.
Yeah, let's go. That's age before beauty.
All right, the young. You good to go?
Okay. Okay, but listen now. This is you've got 2 play. We've only got 1 play.
Which means you will win because we're heavier.
No. Okay. Where's our producer? When do we start? Time. Let's go, guys.
That's mind
Okay.
games.
Road to go.
Right.
Bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
In 3, 2,
Krijg je?
1, go.
Oh, we got this.
I want, nah,
We already winning. We
You're
already
already
winning,
winning.
krijg je?
there's no ways.
Let's see how
Just
far
push the
you
toilet
can.
paper forward. We'll still win.
You have to. This is easy. This is
See,
easy.
we broke.
9, 8, 7,
I'm not
Nah,
happy with the
nah.
performance.
4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Okay.
Okay, so I think the young.
Okay.
Nah. Because
Strokes one.
Lee, because the young didn't make it to the finishing line. Let's do this in football terms. I'll get a point. and you get 3 points.
No,
Is
no,
that
no.
cool?
You got no point.
But you didn't make it to the.
You don't get anything for coming.
I need the
in last.
camera here on me, right? So, we won that. Strokes
Yeah.
one.
One.
Rebels not.
45 minutes to go.
Not. Yeah. First half. Hey.
Let's go to the second half.
Yeah, let's go to the second half. Let's see. Okay. We've got the coaches on. Coach Smiley, can you make your way there? Coach Zavi, can you make your way? Thank you so much.
Do I perhaps have a minute for myself just to warm up?
Yeah, you can warm up there. You can warm up there. You can warm up there. Yeah. So we got the one. We got the first one.
Camera on me.
We're doing the same thing here.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
Please.
I don't want the 7.
I don't want the surface to be wet as well.
Yes, we just want to
We want the Old
clean it
Trafford
up
pitch.
nicely.
Here we go. Krijg, I got this. You
Okay.
can.
We got this. Don't let it spill because then you know what happens.
No, we're leading 1-0, so there should be an advantage in the second half.
No.
There should be an advantage
No
in the
ways.
second half.
No ways. No ways.
Okay.
These guys are competitive.
Can you imagine them on the field?
Okay, are you ready?
Okay, we're ready. We're ready.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Take your time with it, bro.
Take your time. Don't let it spill, then it's gonna break.
Oh, patience.
Oh my goodness.
This is a close.
Oh, lots.
Take your time, bro. Come on.
My guy.
Yes, come on. No, look at that. And it's a cheat. Lee. And he broke off our toilet paper.
Okay, it's 1-1. No. We are close love the underdog.
Thanks for the points,
Okay,
Well
guys.
done, guys. So it's a draw.
It's a draw.
Okay, believe it.
Coach.
This is not a good start to the season.
He dropped the cup.
It's not a good start to the season.
He dropped the cup.
Dropped the cup.
Coach Xavi says no. The coach dropped the cup.
Never had a proper warm-up. Normally my warm-up takes about 45 minutes.
Take your mic there. What you say? What happened
I
there?
normally have a proper warm-up. This one was like, 2 minutes? And I take 45 minutes to warm up.
Got this.
Yeah,
So it
so
was a warm-up.
I hope that form doesn't go with you into the league.
no, it will never. I leave all my mistakes before.
Listen, I just want to say right here now,
So
right?
disappointed.
Just watch social media. There's a website safa.net or what is it, safa.net no? Or something like that. My Safa.
Yes.
My Safa. Just watch the schedule for ABC Motsepe League Gauteng, right? Watch the fixture Wits versus La Masia. You have to be there. The coaches will take you to the field, right? You guys must watch that one, all right? I just hope COVID is now done and then we can bring fans into
Full
the stadium.
house.
Yeah, it will be a full house.
Yeah, come to Bidvest Stadium. There's a nice cup.
Ooh.
It suits
It's
our
either
brand
gonna
of
be
football.
Bidvest Stadium or it's going to be Longdale Biljardine.
Probably Biljardin.
Biljardin
or
Stadium.
better yet, we'll go to El Dorado Park.
Take us to Congo, it's fine.
Yeah. We're undefeated there.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to talk about everything about coaching, right? And both of you are great coaches in your own right. I've seen you at work, whether it be community tournaments, whether it be in the SAFA structures. You guys have done a sterling job and so forth. So I just wanna from my side commend the two of you, being young as you are and still pushing and pursuing this dream of coaching and also pushing our guys, the players that are coming up, because everything you can have a good player, but if the coach is not good, that player is going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So you play a pivotal role. Coach Xavi, how important is it from a coach's perspective for a player to start early?
I think it's very important, but I think the most important element is that boy or the girl,
Right.
because
Yeah.
there's girl footballers
Yes,
as well,
yes.
that they enjoy the sport.
Okay.
They have to enjoy the sport. If they enjoy the sport, you don't have to force them to go to training. They want to go to training. They'll wake mom, dad up in the morning because I want to go.
Right.
Or late afternoon, bug them because I want to go. So I think the enjoyment factor we can't take out of football. And the problem is, in the latter stages of careers, you'll find that players are doing things for money, which I understand because
Yes.
the situation at home cries out for
that,
money.
yes.
Because you also get pressure from parents saying, hey, you got to bring something into the house now.
Yeah.
Especially now in today's times, like with COVID, where mom and dad is putting pressure on you to say, we need another income. And we've
Right.
invested in you school-wise and so on. You got to make sure now you bring something in. So
Okay.
I think the enjoyment factor must not be neglected.
Right,
Yeah.
right. From that perspective, Coach Smiley, when you see that boy, Coach Xavi spoke about enjoying the game. Now you have a boy or a girl that's enjoying the game, but they're not technically that astute. You know what I'm saying? So where do you draw the line? Do you let them continue within that sport just for the enjoyment factor? And then later on, how do you get them to move away from that? Because you can see they're not going to make a career of this thing. There must be a differentiation.
Look, it's important that we understand the formidable years of conditioning is birth to 7.
Okay.
Right? So what we teach the children at that age is very important because they'll do it for 90% of the rest of their lives.
Right.
So we have to add an element of fun to whatever it is that we're doing.
Okay.
So once the fun is there, the development and the progress will be there.
Okay.
But if we don't enjoy what we do, it becomes very difficult to progress technically, tactically. So for the first 12 years, I would say it's important that we have a lot of fun.
Okay.
So people can find where exactly it is that they're comfortable, or on the football field, which position they are comfortable with. Whether it be right back, goalkeeper, you don't really know.
Right.
You understand? Until you're probably 14 or 15 where you'll start mastering one position. But
So tell me, on that development phase, how do you see that this player is actually going to be someone special? Or because look, with a natural eye, you can sit and I can tell you, hey, that player is fantastic, man. That player will make it. But then from a coach's perspective, you will say, no, he doesn't have these elements.
Yeah.
So how do you see that? How do you negate that, coach?
I think there's a lot of elements that actually play a role in a footballer, and one element I look for is the character of the player. So from a young age, like I take Rowan Newman for example.
Right, right.
Rowan comes from Westbury, and Rowan was playing in these Stephen Pienaar tournaments and Discovery and so on at a young age.
Yes.
So you'll find a situation where he was at Bidvest, where I spoke to Dylan Shepherd about it, and Rowan was frustrated, so he was backlashing a lot at the academy.
Right.
But they never understood the background of the player. He's so frustrated because 15 years old, staying in his age group, but off season is playing with all the seniors.
Yes.
So when I gave him that information, what happened was the following season, all of a sudden, MDC team training with the first team, Gavin sees him for the first time.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Gavin's mind is all blown up. The boy takes, 12 months, all of a sudden now he's close to Europe. So
Yes.
it's just small elements like the character. Because I use Rowan because his character is second to none.
Right.
Technically, he had to work on a lot of things, but he had that character to say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I'm
Yes,
going to
that
work
fighting
hard.
spirit.
The fighting spirit.
Yes, yes.
And as colored people, especially in our community, we have that in us. Because especially like if you go like, when we were all growing up to parties and so on.
Yeah.
If you eat my friend, I'm going to go after you, that type of thing. So I always use that like to inspire like my colored guys. And I'm like,
Yes.
especially all my colored players, I'm like, guys, if one is going in hard for a tackle, are you going to sit back? Now, it's
Yeah.
easy to tap into that because he comes from
He
that
comes from that
society.
background. I hear you. I hear you.
So I think that's one of the key elements is character, because when you go higher up, you get a lot of coaches that maybe don't like you. You have to sit outside. You got to sit on the bench maybe for 6 months. What type of character do you have now? Because now your
Sure.
technical ability doesn't take over. Tactical skill doesn't take over.
Sure.
You have to sit on the bench, go home, think about it. How do I get myself over the fact that the coach dislikes me, puts me one side. I'm not even training with the team. And that's what gets you closer to being a PSL player or international player.
So you've coached from which age?
From the age of 6,
Okay.
like under 6.
Under six
Under
players.
six. So when I
Yeah,
was
under 6 players.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 years
I was
old.
probably coaching at home when I was 6 years old. But I was playing at Alex United at the time, and the late John Shoesmashow, let his soul
Yeah.
rest in peace. He told us, guys, you guys train in the morning. Then you're off the whole afternoon. Why don't you guys go down to Balfour Park, where we were training at the time,
Right.
and like just make extra money, go and take under 6, under 8s. And that stuck with me all the way from there, because I
Okay.
started seeing little elements in these boys, like what they could fix, how to enjoy the game. Because at that time, I wasn't really enjoying it.
Right.
Because then the politics started coming in and so on. And that's where I saw I lacked as a footballer, was my character wasn't
wow.
maybe strong enough. So
Wow.
now, that's
Yeah.
why I go back now and I'm like, can I teach our boys what they need in order to make
Sure.
that jump?
Do you think
Sure.
it's easy to coach a younger age group, or
I think it is easier because a lot of players, once they're already stuck in their ways, it's so difficult to get them out of those ways, because they may be coached in one way. Let's just use Coach Farouk Khan, for example. Very tactical also in his approach and so on. But then when you go like to another coach, let's say like Gavin Hunt, Gavin tests your character on a daily basis. He'll, like, I know Dane Clay told me this. Dane's like, Gavin will come to him and be like, the whole week, okay, swear in between, but I'm not going to swear on air. Like how useless he is. He can't cross a ball to save his life. What that did is, Dane goes the next game, he whips in 3 fantastic crosses. There's 3 goals from that crosses. And he wants to see the facial expression of the coach. Now what do you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Gavin knew exactly what he was doing.
Doing.
But then some players can't take that criticism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how important is it? How important is it for you as a coach to know the player?
Yeah.
Because other players, when you do that to them, they everything falls. You know what I'm saying?
As a coach, you have to really understand your player, because sometimes what happens on the field is not necessarily a technical or tactical problem. It might be a personal problem. So if you
Yeah.
can address the personal problem, you might fix the problem that he has on the field. You understand? So it's important that you understand the dynamics of each and every player, his background, his culture, his personality. I mean, the Dutch goes around, they use a method, I don't know if you heard about it, it's called TIPS, tips.
Okay.
So if you want to scout a player, T stands for technique,
Right.
I stands for imagination,
Yes.
P stands for personality, and S stands for speed.
Okay.
So nowhere in there is there anything mentioned about talent
Okay.
So
okay.
that is what we see with the naked eye.
Yes.
But
yes.
we have to now obviously develop the personality of the player as a coach. We have to develop. That's why it's so important to get them at a younger age. The younger you get them, so when we get them at the older age, we have an idea of the personality of the player because it comes through the structures.
Okay.
So we know which principles and ethics and values we impose on these type of players. So it
Okay.
makes your job at the highest level much easier.
Sure. So tell me, we talking now community based, right? You're talking about structures. We necessarily don't have those structures. So how difficult is it for us to develop those players coming from a young age? Anyone of you?
Go for it.
Oh, yeah, look, it's very difficult because you always playing catch up
Okay.
with people that has these structures, that has these resources, that has these facilities. You training at times you're training 30 boys with 8 balls. So bear in mind that you have to add fun into your session. You have
Right.
8 balls.
Yes.
You have 30 players. How difficult does it become?
Sure.
You know, to add fun and then to keep everyone active.
So you
Right.
have to be creative.
You have to be creative.
Extra.
And then you probably by yourself with these 30 players. You need at least 2 or 3 guys to support you. Now you have 8 balls, you don't even have ball boys. So whenever the ball goes out, an exercise might stop or it might delay for about 3 to a minute, say 3 to 1 minute. So it becomes difficult. So you have to manage the players. Now you have to do all the logistics. You have to arrange the transportation. You have to. Now you are thinking, like, I've always wondered why it's so exhausting after a game. Like, why am I so tired? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not playing. I'm not doing anything, man.
Yeah.
Can I get man? Ek doen niks nie, man. But you literally think for 30 players every day you
Wow.
at training.
Wow.
You have
Wow.
to think. They fight each other. You can't fight with anyone.
Right.
You can only fight with your girlfriend at home. That's the only person you can fight with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand. So you have to think for 30 players, and then you have to think for the management, and then you have to think for yourself. You have to think for your daughters, and you have to think. So it's not an easy project. It's not an easy job. So
Right.
no wonder. I mean, if you look at Xavi, I mean, you saw the Porsche outside.
I claim that. I claim
The
that.
guys living in a triple story. I mean, Vince has the structures and everything. I mean, I just got off. I crossed the highway. I jumped the highway actually. My life was in danger just getting here. So every day is a struggle for me. So can you
Come
imagine being surrounded with 30 other players? That's
You-
giving me the stress.
No, I hear you. You know what? Do you want to ask something,
Yeah,
Jay?
I wanna just track back a little bit.
Right.
How difficult was it or is it to have gained the trust from your players? Because you all, honestly look fairly young. And usually when you got the young looks like the two of y'all, it's tend to be like this is my homie and so forth on. So how difficult was it?
So we're talking the familiarity issue here.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's very challenging because I started out at the younger age group with the under 6, under 8, 12s. Then I went over to the under 17s at Vich Juniors, coached as assistant coach to Coach Matthew at Engine tournament and so
Okay.
on. What I told myself was, when I started Catalonia, the team.
Tell us about that, yeah.
Okay, just split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I was with Rebels, like with Casual, Kyle, with Joka and them all. And then what happened was, I saw that they come from teams like where they are already maybe signed or to NFD
Yes,
teams and
yes.
stuff. So I saw the cry out for the guys that are just lower than them in the
Yes.
community just to get in.
Right.
To a team like that. So I started the under 17 Rebels team. But then there was just a few things that were happening between me and Rebels. And
Right.
then my vision.
Yeah.
So and then I started something on my own because
Okay.
I saw the cry out from the younger generation.
Right.
So and then I started Catalonia. So
Okay.
we went into like discovery tournament, like having
So
every age was
so
17.
for those listening, that's community tournaments.
Yeah.
That's what you got them
Yeah.
into. Okay.
Yeah. So I started the same 17-year-old group just added like Mark Yaskins, Cohen Kirsten.
Yes.
Like I added 1 or 2 senior players just to help them grow in such.
100%.
Again, going back to Rowan playing these type of tournaments and
Yes.
stuff as a young player
Yes.
will help him in the years to come. From that same project, I now have 9 players that have PSL contracts.
Wow.
So even though you lose in those tournaments as a coach, but what that helped me with is how do
Yes.
I deal now with those type of personalities, the younger boys, the bigger guys. So and then fortunate enough to be guided from by Coach Ian Palmer. So he guided me a lot as my mentor and so on. Was assistant at Palmeiras, also in the Vodacom League. So and then assistant Coach Mark Yaskins at Varsity Cup
Yes.
level for 3 years. And then I think when players start seeing your sessions, how you guide them,
Yes.
the mentor
Yeah.
that you are to them, from a
Yes.
brother figure to a father figure.
Wow.
Where some players even come to you and talk about problems at home. And then that's how they buy into you and the person that you are. Because again, you know, if you got good fruit coming out of you,
Yes.
players start catching onto you like a magnet. And I think
100%.
that has grown. And I think also where I am now as the head coach of Wits University, we've just started actually like a prayer group with the team.
Right.
Where a lot of players have been coming now. And I mean, it happened once, but like players are all coming now. And you can see players are trying to open up more. And with them opening up goes back to your question about how do you get the best out of players
Yes.
at your age, whatever. Because most of the time you'll find they may be 2 years younger or a
Yes.
year younger or
Yes.
a few years younger.
Yes.
But we're supposed to be khataya.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a fine line also. You got to show them like who is the head coach, when can you,
Yeah.
you know. So, but it is a bit challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But as young coaches that have the right attitude and the right ambitions, I think that this situation that we're currently in, it's so easy for us to do what we do because it comes from a good place.
Wonderful.
Yo, Unc.
You know what? You're gonna carry on with your question that you have there. Just keep it there. I want to introduce to you our anchor for the show. He's going to speak about the psychological because we're on that point now. So we want to welcome Neil Hudson-Berg as he comes here.
Let's go!
So Jay, you go.
No, I just wanted to say this, Unc. I love what's going on here in the studio.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, Coach Smiley's like just sitting back as if like, is that it? Is that it? There's so much competitiveness and rivalry taking place here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's healthy. It's healthy. Healthy rivalry. So let's just get Neil Hudson-Berg in. He's got a issue that he wants to deal with.
Well, good morning, guys. Good to be with you guys, Coach Zavi and Smiley. Smiley, that's why it's called Smiley. Thank you so much, man. So, guys, one of the things that I was thinking about regarding this, so over the last few years, maybe about 10 or so years, we've seen that corporate guys, when there's issues, psychological issues within their work team, they would get wellness programs going. They'll hire an external company that will do this type of things. And I was wondering, for the two of you, you know, you have to be the coach now, and maybe because of budget constraints, you can't get an external person to do this type of psychological evaluation. Because you said something just now. Here you're on the line, you're doing your best, and you're getting flack from the coach, and you know it's all adrenaline. It's all adrenaline and temperaments that is going around. So my question is, how would you guys? I don't know if that's in place with your teams where you have external guys, or are you the coach and the life coach? And how would you balance between being the coach, the hard person now, and all of a sudden you need to be the compassionate, understand? Because we go through stuff on a daily basis. You know, it might not even be related to you playing, but things at home happening. So how would you guys deal with that?
Smiley, you go first.
Smiley?
Okay,
Move that mic for us.
let me just take
Yeah.
this from Neil. Yeah. Well, first of all, that's what's required of you as a coach. You know, it's fundamentally important that you are a good leader. Coaching is just not about, you know, setting up drills and spotting and identifying talent. It's about leadership. You understand? And often why we never get to make it to the PSL level is because we don't look at that aspect that you mentioned now in our development. All we focus on is just technically and tactically. And, you know, we start singing the praises, but we forget that this boy has to deal with situations off the field. And it might impact his performance on the field. So you have to be aware as a coach that I need to obviously train the mental aspect of the player. I need to train the physical aspect, even the social aspect. Like, how do I have other players that can't even speak with someone.
Sure.
You understand? So
The
we
confidence.
Have to, there's no confidence. So you need this person. I mean, football is a contact sport. It's a sport of communication. So you have to be all that. Look, we also understand that Guardiola once said that a good player, a bad player, in fact, or a good player with a bad attitude is a bad player.
Okay.
So if you don't equip yourself as a coach, you'll never identify those type of problems. You understand? So.
Maybe. Look, I appreciate that. Can you give us some real life examples, without mentioning names, obviously, where you have this player coming from such a background where they don't even have a bed to sleep on, and how you as a coach have to navigate that thing?
Well, there's like in my community where I'm from, there's like really talented players. Like, you know, I in terms of natural ability, I put them right up there with the best in the world. In fact, I hosted, I think, the people from Man City Dream Academy. They were there like 5-6 years ago, and they asked me to prepare like an under-12 team for them. I did it within one day. The day you were there, the Saturday, I had to prepare the team the Friday. So I had never had no chance to train them, anything. I just had to select them based on what I know. And when we got there, we played a provincial team from Soweto, from Zachariah Park, from Randburg, all the different, but they train together. They've
got structures in place.
Structures for the big teams, and I just randomly selected people close by that I knew. I probably never selected the best, but we played the next day. Within 5 minutes, those people came to me, and they selected
The
5.
people from Man City.
The people from Man City came and they selected 5 boys, and they stopped the entire project and they just took those 5 boys. But now they had to go up and do the second part of the test, which was an aptitude test, and that's where they lacked.
Sure.
You understand? So they know how important it is in Europe, like to mentally be able to deal with different situations. Like, I mean, when you go abroad, it's not easy. You probably have your last meal. I know you can ask Xavi or you can ask Lester. You probably have your last meal at 5 o'clock, and we used to have our last meal at past 9 to 10, sometimes even to 11. I know, I can see.
That's kind.
Coach Javi, how would you respond to that?
On the talent identification or your
on
question?
the mental development, of the
social
team.
aspect.
Social aspects, yeah.
Oh, it's huge, especially in our community. It's huge. I mean, if you heard Corbin's story last week, I mean, you leaving home at a young age and wanting to fulfill a life for your family elsewhere in another country, it's very challenging. My cousin, Dylan Klassen, for example, he left home when he was 16 to Europe. But so he spent about, on average, I think it was 10 or 11 years in Europe. But he never got to see his little brother grow up and so on. So there's all those things that also play on your mind. Yes, you are there doing what you love and what you dreamt about doing, but you have to take, it's sacrifices for the betterment of your family eventually. And you don't see it at that time because you're there talking a foreign language. It's all those little things that play in your mind. Like we take for granted just seeing our family on a regular basis. Now imagine you're not with your family. So even like a player's footballing ability sometimes takes a bit of a hit, and then coaches will think, the ball is just not good enough. But the thing is, in Europe, they go into detail. Like Smile was saying about the attitude and so on. They go into detail and see, is he just an individual or is he here for the team? And they set up small little tasks within their development process and so on, just to see how is this player with someone he doesn't know? How is he with a lady being in the room? You know, who is he as a person? So they go very much more into detail, because when you're on the field, when it's in chaos, am I going to fight for the guy in front of me, behind me, and next to me? Or is it just about me? I done my job, I crossed the ball, you better do your job.
Yeah.
They don't want that weeds to be within the team or within society overall. So I think the mental aspect is very important, especially now with COVID. There's a lot of guys that are not really playing football. Because it's just PSL and NFD. It's so challenging for individuals, and this is the time now where you see players actually doing the wrong things off the pitch and so on. How do you motivate these players? And funny enough, just talking about that, I was talking to one of my players now within lockdown. He was motivating me more, and yesterday we just found out that he collapsed at home and he's passed on. But a young boy, aged 21 years old,
man.
and it just shows that like death doesn't wait for a specific time. You can be young with a six-pack, whatever. You can just collapse at any time. But what I'm trying to get at is that psychologically, it's so important for mental health, for athletes, for young people, for even grown-ups. It's so important, and because if you are well mentally, like if the head is very good mentally, you can do anything else with the body. But once the mind switches off, because the power is all in the mind. If your mind can figure out, I can do this, no matter what it is, you'll be able to do it.
How important then, I would say, Neil, how important is then your religious beliefs? So whatever, so for a player to be religiously involved, you know, with their belief, how important is that for anyone? You know what I'm saying, for the players as well.
Yeah. So you can't deny the fact that there are Christian players out there.
Yes.
And one of the development would be your psychological development, but also, you know, the spiritual aspect about that. And you deal with different people from different religious backgrounds as well as cultural backgrounds. So I think one of the aspects, you know, what makes it good is the motivation in terms of if you want to be, what can I call it, generalized, you know, an almighty being and all of this. So I think from that point, I think the spiritual aspect is also key to the development because that keeps you grounded, you know, especially when it gets to moral type of issues that you are faced with. So I think from a religious or from a spiritual perspective, I think that all three areas needs to be totally in balance, you know, and the coach at that point in time, he can't enforce his religious views on the rest of the team, fairly said. But I think those who are around, I think he can play a big role in their development, especially now with the young boy who passed away. You know, the coach is going to have to take on almost like bereavement counseling, if I can use that term.
Support structures.
Yeah, support structures that are in place. And I think it plays a key role. And I just want to thank you guys for the job that you are doing. And so just one last question before I'm out. Do you think it's too late for me to become a coach?
Look, you are a coach, you're just not a football coach.
Let's give it up for Neil. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, we're going to go into another segment now. It's called what, Jay?
It's called Charade on My Parade.
Charade on My Parade. Okay, so Charade on My Parade. Jay, you go.
I actually need, where's the director? I need the director to actually help me out on this one real quick.
Okay.
Charade on My Parade.
So we again, same teams, Strokes versus Rebels,
Yes.
right? We won. Coach, please,
one.
man,
Hey,
please,
man, you know
please.
what? Can't I change partners, man?
Coach,
those guys
please,
costing
man,
me,
you're
man.
dropping
Like,
the cup, man.
Okay, so this is how it works.
Yes,
okay? Can I borrow your mic?
Yeah, just explain to us, the producer.
Producer.
I don't know. It's cool. Okay, so this is how the game works, right? It's called Charade on My Parade. So basically, you guys are playing charades. So here you've got these cards that you're going to hold in your hand. Ooh,
Right.
yeah, no.
He
Use
saw
the
it.
cheaters. I see you guys are like...
He's sharp, this
Okay,
guy.
so what you're going to do is you're going to try to explain to your partner. You have a minute to explain to your partner what it is. It's all
Okay.
football terms,
Okay.
right? And then what you're going to do is, so you no words, only action. So you can maybe say 2 words. You
Yeah.
can do this.
Okay, whatever.
2
Yeah,
words.
one word.
And if there is an article, this is for the or a. If there is
Okay.
that, okay, then you start explaining. You only have a minute. If the person doesn't know it, go to the next one, but the person must say pass. Okay, go
Okay.
to the next one. So we're gonna see how many you can get,
Okay.
within a minute.
A minute.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Ladies
Cool.
first.
Okay, let me go. I don't trust Esther. I don't trust Esther, so let me go.
I'm taking those cards
We,
out.
we going
you
out.
can't say we have to do it together.
Yes.
No, we're sending out the strongest member of the team first. we want to take
I want
advantage of the
coach.
situation.
Who lost? Exactly.
he forgot to go.
He forgot it.
Don't flip
Thanks.
it yet. Don't flip it yet.
Okay. Are you going?
I'm not flipping it. It's a chess game. Like, you know, I'm giving you the upper hand.
Okay, so tell me. So he can show. He has to show the word to the
Doesn't have to show
camera.
He doesn't have to show it.
But do I have to?
Okay.
So I can
Afterwards he can.
I can stand
Okay,
right where I
whatever,
am.
whatever.
You can stand
Okay.
right where you are.
Okay.
I think just make sure.
So who?
Be on that side to make
He
sure.
must act it out. Jy moet dit act.
Okay.
Okay.
So I give
No
me.
words. No words.
No words at all.
Can
Okay.
you please swing your chair?
Okay. So
You-
you,
you-
can make
you
that
must
off.
act.
You can stand if you want.
Okay.
You must act
don't
it.
need the mic, so-
I must guess. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Cross. Pass. Pass. Vuvuzela. CR7.
Gee, that's a lucky guess.
Yeah.
Ankle injury.
What? I need to double check that.
Facts.
Calculator. Sorry. I don't know what I'm answering.
VAR.
Come on.
Why do they have such easy
Penalty.
stuff?
Corner. Cross. Free kick.
Well done.
Hey!
So that's the advantage I have over Zavi in the ABC Motsepe.
He must explain to you.
Must I explain?
Yes.
Are you gonna explain?
Okay. Hey coach, how many points was that?
That's 5.
Yeah, we have 30 seconds left, isn't it?
No way. That was naming 30 seconds.
So
Let's check
why
that.
did we go back?
There's nothing left for me to do.
No words, no sounds, no nothing.
Okay.
Are we good there?
Hey, leave it, bruh.
Okay.
Yo.
Right.
Let's see how your acting skills are, coach.
You must
Come
speak in
on.
a mic, bruh.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh yeah.
I'm good,
Okay,
I'm
good.
Right. Are you ready?
You can explain me, it's fine.
Right, let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Across. Corner flag. Free kick. A lob. Volley. VAR. Goal.
TV.
Hat-trick. Free kick. Celebration. Penalty. Let's go. Come on, coach, you got this. Ref, full time. Okay, we got that. Come on, just one more. Let's go.
You can show him.
Just do anything. Celebration. Celebration, come on.
10,
Come on, just do anything.
9, 8, 7.
Come on, coach. How do you, Robinho?
No.
But through that, producer.
How does I show you?
How does Robinho celebrate?
Okay, it's not this.
Robinho.
We got it.
No, you know, obviously. He knows. He says Robinho. You just said Robinho.
How does Robinho celebrate?
That's how we will win the league at the end of the
If you
day.
say Messi, Messi does it.
Yeah.
If you say,
See how
But
that's
we
so
do that.
easy.
But
If you-
we never
if you-
came to us because we were gonna get
Okay.
now only saying it,
Robinho, yeah.
All
or
right.
maybe even the other Brazilian.
How many did they get?
Ronaldo.
They
would
got
have
3,
known.
ne?
Exactly. Robinho.
4.
And we got 5.
You got
6.
5.
We got 6.
So the winners of this whole tournament is
Hey, man.
Robinho celebration.
Strokes.
Thank you guys.
Strokes.
Strokes
FC.
When it matters most.
Dankie coach
We'll let you
Leppe.
guys win the preseason stuff.
Preseason stuff.
Yeah. Now, what I want to get at right now, coach, starting with you. So you coaching at Wits University, the head coach over there. How important is the education side with balancing it out with the football itself? Can you go through that with us?
Firstly, I think we're in a situation where, especially in our country, where a lot of footballers, including myself, when growing up, we look at football as the be-all and end-all.
Right.
Football, in our minds, is almost like the NBA. One contract, I'm set for life.
Okay.
And it's not the case. Because
Right.
you can get a contract and you can get 15,000 rand a month, where you got to think about food, housing, all those other elements.
Yes.
Then we as vets, we look at a point where can't we make educated footballers the norm?
Okay.
That's what we want.
Okay.
So if you look at the average age of footballers that make it in South Africa, you're looking at probably age 24.
Okay.
The average age.
Okay.
We're not talking about, now all of a sudden there was this burst out now in the bubble where there's quite a few youngsters coming through. Because
Yes,
teams
yes,
were
yes.
forced to do it.
Yes.
Um, but if you really go and look, at age 18 you leave matric.
Yeah.
You got how many more years to get to age even 22 or so, 23?
You say 6 years.
Yeah. In that process, when you're 18 years old, you can study and play football at the same time. And now, again, when you come into that, we're looking at people that are disciplined, because you have to be disciplined in order to do the education and the football. Now,
Right.
now in society today, you got three elements. You got the football,
Yeah.
you got the education, and then you also have, pardon me, also have the social life.
Right.
Because now I want to have nice time also,
Yes.
I want to study also, and I want to play football. So when's the body going to rest?
Yes.
So now you got to find a balance. So somewhere, somehow, you got to sacrifice somewhere. So if you're going to say, okay, no more football and more social life, education's going to fall out.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is show players that it is possible that you can still study and play football. And even players have come back. So when you saw Katsa, there's a lot of players that have come back that are still studying and have played in the PSL. Because after the morning training session,
What do you do?
what do you do afterwards? Even if you
Right.
study English as a subject,
Right.
you can at least go home, go and prepare yourself, or even in the evening when you have an evening class, you have one subject to do.
Right.
There's players that do that, but we not enough. There's not enough of them. That's why chairmen can bully you out of contracts.
Right.
Because you don't read your own contract, you don't understand these things. And also when a player gets dismissed, you're thinking, yo, am I not going to pay enough for lawyers' fees and all of that? You can
Yes.
represent yourself if you understand what you are reading. And now we run away from education because we feel like education, well, how we were all brought up now in society, most footballers is that, hey, it's boring. So I even urge teachers out there to make sure that if football is so enjoyable, can we make education also so enjoyable?
Right.
Because at the age of 23, when you get your degree, now you're in the PSL. And in the back of your mind, you have something to fall on.
Right.
There's nothing better than having such a feeling, knowing that I have a degree, I can go and work and go and get 45, 50,000 rand a month. I don't have to depend solely on football. And with that type of attitude and commitment to something within education and football, what that teaches you is the balance within life. Because
Right.
now you've taught yourself something for that 3-4 years in that little phase. When you go into the PSL, you're even going to feel like, no, man, something's missing. Let me just go and study one more subject while I'm
Right.
playing in the PSL.
Right.
And when you look up, like age 32, 33, when you do retire, wow, this is what I have in terms of my degree and so on.
You've
I
got
wanna-
something
I
to
want-
fall
I
back
want to go
on.
and buy a club. You can go and buy a club which you know how to manage your finances, which you
Yes.
just maybe did business and so on.
Right.
Then you'll start getting more footballers to come into football with the football mind. Now you have so many businessmen that haven't even kicked a ball before, but they want to tell Smiley who to play, who must play. I don't care how you train, but this one must play, that one must play.
Sure.
And that's the problem, because you don't have, I mean, look, Lucas Radebe, doctor,
Yeah.
but he's not involved in our football.
Yeah.
And now we're still asking ourselves, when are we going to play our first game?
Yo.
We don't know.
Yes.
We need more people that have played the game with qualification also
Yes.
at the highest level. Bayern Munich, such a successful club with people that have played the game and that have studied. Just one point before I stop this one. We went to China last year, just before the breakout of
This
COVID.
is now Wits University.
Yeah, we went to China last year. So there was students from the US, from England, from Germany, and the Germans were huge, fantastic players, whatever. We played them in the final, we lost narrowly 1-0. But they were players that were playing second division, first division football there, semi-pro, almost like Yeba as ABC Motsepe.
Yeah.
But they're studying still. They say even Philip Lahm, all those guys, it's part of their culture, studying and playing football.
Wow.
If we make it part of our culture, I don't even think we'll even have racial problems and so on, because now we have educated individuals
Yes.
within our, even in our colored society. The more educated people we have, the more direction I feel we have.
Tell me, what's the criteria, like, to get involved? Look, I'm assuming that Wits is not the only one.
Yeah.
You've got Johannesburg,
Yeah, of course.
University of Johannesburg, and I don't know UWC or UCT or whatever.
Yeah, you can go to Tuks
Stellenbosch,
also.
Tuks. So, what's the criteria basically for you to come into the program where you study and you play football? What's the criteria like?
Well, just be decent enough, I would hope, like in terms of football. But at Wits, it's very challenging because to get into Wits with your marks, you gotta be on another level in terms of like your average has to be like, I'm talking 65, 70.
Yeah.
Now you get UJ, for example, where they'll get the cream of the crop because the entry level to get in there is not that high.
Okay.
So, and also like via football bursaries, I know from my experience at Wits, there's only a certain amount.
Okay.
But when you go like to Tux, because they have the high performance center there and
Yes.
so on, you can even get involved in there even at high school level, where you can go to the Tux school there, the high performance center, and just go through the ranks like that. But the problem is our people, our colored people, do not know about those visions.
Yes.
Do we have a visionary board that shows us that, you know what, I'm going to play, let's just use La Masia. I'm going to play at La Masia.
Yes.
But after I'm done at La Masia, I'm going to go and study in the afternoon. I'm going to UJ.
Right.
And there's bursaries out there. It's just that our people don't know where to go.
How do we access this, coach?
Well, therefore, go to the internet and then you go and check up on these things in terms of UJ, the bursary situation, what's the bursary situation, and they go there about.
We need more of, we need to talk about that more. We need to get experts in, yourself and other guys that knows the know-how, you know. That's another level for our guys. I want to come from your perspective. What about the boy and the girl that's not academically astute, right? And that is struggling at the local community school, and they don't have the marks to get into those structures. What do you do with them?
Well, it's important, Lester, that you have a proper structure in place, because not everyone's going to excel. I mean, I for myself wasn't a big fan of school.
Right,
You
right.
understand? I mean, the last grade I passed, I think was grade 9, but I ended up in matric. I don't know, you asked me how. I spoke my way all the way into matric, and guess for what? It was for sport. I failed grade 9, and I was one of the top athletes, and I told them I was busy during the first 3 periods preparing so that this school can be represented at the highest level in sport, and you want to fail me, then I can go to another school. So they gave me, and then they gave me again the following year. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it right in matric. I knew no one there. But the structure has to be in place, Pastor, and obviously the leadership. I place so much emphasis on the leadership. Like any dictator is a coach nowadays.
Right.
And that's the problem. What we treat, we don't understand the importance of leadership in coaching. So we treat leadership with intensity.
Okay.
Right. So we go to a 2-day course. We give you a certificate, and well done. You're a leader. You understand? And you're a coach. But you don't understand the dynamics that comes with it. You know, it's an arduous journey. Like, you have to mentally prepare yourself. You have to understand, because what you teach them at this young age is what they're going to do for the rest of their footballing career.
Yeah.
So it's important that we have the right people in place. Not only tactically and technically, but even, like the psychologist said, O'Neill,
Yes.
that we obviously need to make sure that we have those programs in place to equip the people spiritually. But now with the in our situation, Pastor, like, we would need a lot of help amongst each other
Right.
to have what is a professional institute.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they have all the resources, all the facilities, all the structures in place. When you come to an environment like Aldo's, where the schooling football system is not even where it's supposed to be. In fact, there's no schooling program. There's no sporting. For the last 2 years, they've taken away the inter-eye.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be one of the highlights of anyone's year.
Look, when I was at school, I won't tell you which year, right? When I was at school, we had competing against one another.
Yes.
From primary school, you compete against that school, whatever code of sport it was, you know, you're competing all the time. High school, you're
Yes.
competing. But now in our system, there's nothing of that sort. So, do you see my difficulty, coach, where you have to come from university level now and then work your way up? There's nothing happening in school.
Yeah.
They leave it all to the LFAs to do that work for development of the players young age.
And I mean, if you look at the different sporting, if you look at the different sporting codes, I don't know if it's sparked down, but I know there's certain schools that's identified for certain sports. Like,
Yes,
I
like
mean,
cricket
Like
and so-
cricket, if you
yeah.
want a top cricket player, you're going to that school.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you know they
Rugby.
probably playing. If you're going to rugby, you're going to St. Statians. If you're going to,
Yeah.
I mean, Waterstone Academy invested in their football coaching.
Yeah.
You
So
understand?
in that regard, I mean, Parktown boys, girls, all these caps and cares and all those schools, even in Cape Town and so forth, specifically for rugby and cricket and so forth. But football is very low on the agenda. There's nothing happening in football, which will tell me it's an administrative problem.
100%.
And I want to say on air, that means SAFA is useless. I'm just saying that. SAFA is useless because there's no structures in place for the boys. All they have that they think is they have these leagues and you must take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing in place for the schools.
Not even facilities.
No facilities whatsoever. Go look how the communities look. And that's my problem. That's my problem. We need, as you say, educated guys that have played the sport,
to invest.
that knows the sport, to invest in that and come up in the top structures of SAFA and then get them to grassroots level. Let us start developing.
And I mean, you need them at the early age. You need to get
Yes.
these players at 13, 12, if not younger. You know, those people abroad are getting them at 8, 9. I mean, they're starting to introduce resistance training already at the Fulham Academy at the age of 9.
Just on that, you took a bunch of youngsters. You took them to Europe. With the development, what did you see there?
Oh, like, you know, the mentality is where we most struggle. It was a difficult journey.
Right.
You understand? But on the field of play, we could beat anyone.
Okay.
The best of what they had to offer us there, we beat them.
Right.
But off the field of play, we lost to anyone.
Sure. You're talking about resistance training from a young age. What did you experience there in terms of...
Well, one of the things that stood out for me is, I mean, this boy never even had the guarantee that he would make it to a professional level. But the involvement of the parents, like they have a session, like for 1 or 2 hours. After the session, all the parents join the kids with the coaching team, the technical team. They go into a boardroom and now they have a question and answer session. That's like 45 minutes. So it teaches them leadership, but now your parents are involved. And that's part of their football program.
Yeah.
And I'm not even speaking about your Ajax or, you know,
It's just
that is your local LFA.
Yes.
So obviously the higher it gets, the more professional and the better coaches they are.
Yeah.
You understand? So, you know, with us here, guys, it's just really difficult. We need, most of the coaches that you do get that's working outside of their communities are getting paid because you got people that's at CARES. You got maybe
Yes.
4 or 5 from our community that's working at CARES. You
Yes.
have 3 or 4 that's working at the German school.
Look, we had to have with us the coach of strokes,
Yes.
Coach Nathan. We call him Slepe, right? He had to be here, but he couldn't make it because he's got a lesson at the German school this morning. You know what I'm saying? So we go out of our communities because financial. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the facilities back. And here again, second time in a row, I'm making an appeal to brown businessmen to really look at the heart of the coaches and look at our communities in the sporting arena and invest in there. I'm saying again, we have a team like La Masia. There's one gentleman by the name of Nazir putting his money, his effort and everything into one team just to get them to the second tier of South African football, to the NFD. And he's fighting a lot of demons. Let me tell you, he's fighting a lot of people just to keep that team afloat. I'm saying, guys, can we not, from our side, help where we can, help the coaches, help the clubs, you know what I'm saying? Put input there and with your financial contribution and so forth. I don't know how you can help. You would know. Get hold of the clubs, speak to them and see how you can be of assistance to them out there. It's just a plea from my side that I'm doing. You know, all your influences that we have with people, we need to work together to get that moving and to get that going. Because if we're not going to do it for ourselves, no one's going to do it for us. You know what I'm saying? So, Coach Xavi, here's an aspiring footballer. He wants to play abroad. He wants to play in Europe. What's your advice to him in terms of, from a coaching perspective, what's your advice to him?
Like I said earlier on, there's so much things towards football.
Right.
but depending also the age group. But let's just say, for example, it's a 10-year-old, 12-year-old.
Yes.
Don't wait for your coach to give you things to do.
Okay.
There's something called homework.
Yeah.
Take the ball. The wall is your best friend at home.
Right.
Play the ball against the wall and work on things. I mean, lots of these individuals are always like on your WhatsApps and your phones and
Yes.
so on. Go on YouTube. Go and see small technical drills that can help you at home.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you'll have a situation where you only go to training twice a week. It's not enough. Especially like in Europe, those guys, like somebody said, technically they're not better than us.
Right.
Tactically they improve because of the coaches and because of the coaching. But we have everything it takes to be playing Champions League football
Right.
from a gift perspective, because we are gifted individuals in South Africa.
Right.
That's why you can take a team and coach them one day and just put them in there and let
Yes.
them play, because
Yes.
naturally they are gifted. But now the thing is also, my appeal is to the coaches for these boys,
Right.
that you coach them what they need to learn for years to come, because sometimes the habits, the dirty habits that they pick up, where they be hanging on to the ball too long in certain areas, show them where they can exploit all their skills.
So, but the coaches also need to be upskilled,
100%.
right? So, where do you get upskilled?
Oh, that's so tough, because I mean, geez, I'm CAF-C licensed now. I'm
Right.
waiting for B license. I don't know how long that is gonna take. And a lot of coaches are, that have the money, are paying for the European certificates, because, and that, look, you're talking about courses that are 35,000.
Wow.
So where are we gonna get these type of monies from?
Wow.
So a lot of the time you have to coach yourself by watching games, by taking out small little details, dissecting small little stuff, and coaching yourself to improve individuals. Because then you gotta look. You can't just do what Pep Guardiola is doing. You can do it for your team. You have to first look at what you have.
Yes.
Do they have similar ability? What can you do here and there? And that's how you can actually start improving individuals and then the whole team as a whole to play a specific way.
Who do you use as a mentor locally in your coaching journey?
Coach Alan Fries.
Coach Alan Fries. What has he taught you?
Like, you know, I've been surrounded by top coaches.
Right.
And they have the best drills, they have the best personalities. And I get Alan Fries, and I mean, we struggled with these coaches, you know. Like, it wasn't easy, it was difficult, the leadership. I only realized now that what was most lacked there was the leadership. So with Alan, I always wondered, like, why is he doing so well? Like, when he was interim coach at Platinum Stars, he won the Nedbank, he won the MTN 8.
Yes.
They finished second on the log. I mean, he lost in the final the following season to Sundowns. So he had an exception here. He goes to Highlands after that, and then wins promotion with Highlands.
Wow.
In the NFD. And then does it again 2 seasons later. Like, now I always ask myself, what is it about him? But it's his character.
Right.
Like, he hates being lied to.
Right.
He hates being late.
Yes.
He believes in transparency and honesty, and is genuine. And,
Wow.
and here we're thinking that everything is about ability and talent. It's about your character, the person that you are. If you're a good person, you'll be a good coach. If you're a good person, you'll be a good player.
And you've got relationship with different coaches.
Yeah, like,
and you learn from them.
Yeah, I learn a lot from. If you look at the change that Coach Brandon brought to Swallows. I mean, he, in a very similar situation to what we had at La Masia.
Yeah.
He came in at the even higher level at the NFD. I think they were number 13 or 14. Played 8 games already. They went on with an old age home. That's what they were called, the old age home.
Yeah.
They were called it, and they won the league straight.
Yes.
No playoffs, nothing.
Yes.
And then his first season in the PSL, and look what he does.
He's sitting on top.
One thing I do know about him, that he really imposes his religious beliefs in whatever he does, not necessarily on the individual.
Yes.
But
for himself.
I mean, they have their devotions, you know, they have their prayer time, they have their one-on-ones, they have a lot of spiritual sessions.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And one of the commentators mentioned there's just something different about this team. They don't know what it is, they can't place their finger on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, I'll end with this one. They say a pack of wolves led by a lion will always defeat a pack of lions led by a wolf.
Wow. 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 Hey, this is a man of quotes.
Come on now.
This is a man of quotes.
Come on now.
Coach Zavi,
Yep.
closing comments?
Okay.
Jay, unless you want to ask something.
Yeah, just
Okay.
last. We've been speaking about everything now besides the talent aspect of the game. How do you actually manage a team where, because take for instance Eden Hazard, when he was at Chelsea, he didn't necessarily enjoy the drills and so forth on at training, but he told the coach, you know what, coach, give me the ball in the game and I'm gonna get you goals. And he did so. How do you manage a team where there's other players that aren't necessarily as talented, but they give you hard work in training? They're there early. How do you assess and manage that situation?
Look, everybody's talented. That's why they're in my team. So you have to take. It's like a recipe. When you look at like all the things on the table, like everything tastes nice, but you gotta make sure that the whole pot tastes nice. Like the food is gonna be nice at the end of the day. So now you gotta take the different talents, and you have to make sure as a manager now that you manage individuals. And also, I have a player that loves running. He's probably the quickest I've seen.
Oh yeah, no, he is quick.
Yeah, he's probably the quickest I've ever seen. And how do you manage that? Where do you get him to run with the ball? What areas to help the team? Because it's not tennis, because it's not, like golf, where it's just you and your swing and whatever. Yes, you got your carries and so on, but this individual, how do we use Hazard's skill on the ball? So now remember, you got to get the ball out from the back. Are you just going to kick it over? Because most players, they don't want to play the kicking ball. Because now you're kicking the ball over me, now I must run after the ball every time. So now you got to find and map a way forward for the whole team to be satisfied in what my role is, what your role is. And of course you get individuals that maybe feel, hey, but this coach is not using me to my
strength.
To my strength.
Or what I like.
Exactly. So now you got to manage that, because this boy is a very good player. But you also have to explain certain games are not going to be for you. If we're going on bumpy pitches, maybe with physical guys, I might have to match it here and there. So it's very important, the man managing skills. Because all I wanted as a footballer was, I just want the coach to be open to me.
Yes. Communicate clear.
Communicate to me.
Yes.
Make me understand, why am I sitting on the bench?
Yes.
Why am I...
And that's a problem.
It's a big problem. And it's not like, it shouldn't be an ego thing. It should be a thing where you manage the player. I mean, you have to explain to your wife why you are actually late when you come home. Why you come home to have a clock? There has to be a very good reason for it. If you keep quiet and go to bed, there's problems.
There's problems. No, it's true. I hear you. With Coach Smiley, I mean, he's got a fantastic way. I'm privileged to see how he works with individuals. I'm privileged to see how Coach Xavi works with individuals. But with Smiley is his background. This guy, when youth was not popular, he was running a youth of 200 in a small church. You know what I'm saying? He was a youth leader. And so those type of skills, those type of leadership skills, it helps now for where you are in terms of coaching, so that you can manage the players.
The person.
Yeah, the person, yeah.
You want to, the whole idea behind coaching, you want to get the best out of the person and not out of the player.
Right. Okay, I hear you.
And once you do that, your job is done.
Beautiful. Guys, you know what? This time is too short, man. We've got so much things to talk about and so forth. But we'll get you back. And we'll get you back with other experienced coaches like Coach Gavin and Coach Alan Fries. I'm also so privileged to spend some time with him as well as Coach Brandon. We want to do a shout out to all the coaches out there. Coach Nathan, that's coaching strokes. Coach Kurt, he's a legend in our community. Coaching, if you speak coaching, you speak Jerobium Kurt. And thank you so much for everyone out there for listening. Press that subscribe button and share this one, because a lot of players would want to know where can they go to, and there was great insights shared from these coaches. They in the ABC Motsepe League, they're growing, and I believe they're going to be one of the best coaches this country has ever seen. I promise you that. I know the individuals, and I know they're going places. And that's a fact. And thank you so much for watching again. We really appreciate you. Press the subscribe button and share this link with everyone that you know. And thank you so much. See you next week.